Summer may be winding down, but there is still plenty to see and do here in Old Town Portsmouth, such as the Seawell Art Show in August. And in September, one Old Town institution celebrates 20 years. Stay tuned, we'll tell you all about it right here, right now, on this episode of Portsmouth Now. Welcome to this August-September episode of Portsmouth Now. I'm your host, Rob Lauer. If you are an art lover, then you will want to be in Old Town on the weekend of August 26th for the 51st annual Seawell Art Show. Our first guest is Erling Lampin to tell us all about it. Erling, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Well, thank you so much. It's nice to be here again.
And you're here because it is that time of year again. It is August, and so that means it's time for the
Seawell Art Show.
And how many years?
51st. Seawell.
51st. Wow.
51st year. And I have not been around all those 50 years.
I did not think so. But you have been with the organization for quite a while.
I have. I thought about it this morning and realized that I've been with this organization for over 20 years.
Well,
that just doesn't seem possible. You'd think they'd be tired of me and send me away.
I don't say you're a volunteer. This is not
correct.
Okay, so the Seawell Art Show and things like this really come together because of organizations, communities where it's citizens volunteering because I guess they love art in this case.
They do, and it's not just for the art, but for the promotion of the arts. We have all sorts of art in our show. We have everything from clay to leather, and every person has a story to tell. Their art tells a story. It may not be a story that some people like, but it is definitely art. And I'm just so excited that this is happening again.
Yes.
And hope it continues.
I mean, it's a big display. You're set up here on High Street, I believe.
Yes, we are.
Between which streets?
We are on High Street between Crawford and Court.
And you have the artists, they are set up in the street, and it is just
correct.
A huge variety of pieces.
It is, and you will not see two people with the same medium next to each other. We wouldn't do that. But you're going to see a big variety. Last year was a tough year because we had been gone for 2 years. Thank you, COVID. And we were really worried that we wouldn't get our numbers back. And they might have been a little low last year, but not this year. They're back up. We had, I think it was 78 or 79 applications, and that is good to deal with.
Yeah. Then now a lot of art shows, you go to, just basically people pay a fee and they get in there, and they could be displaying great art, or they could be displaying crafts that they picked up at like Hobby Lobby or somewhere and threw together. This is a juried art show. Explain to our viewers what that means, a juried art show.
Well, anyone who applies to Seawell Art Show has to send us pictures of their work. We ask questions about how and where they did it. And when the jurors work on it, they look at it from a different standpoint. They look at it as if it is watercolor, then they are going to look at it for what constitutes watercolor. So, and we have had in the past some applications that we could not accept because they just didn't meet our standards. We are very proud of the fact that you're not going to see bead stringers. And I apologize to the people who work in beads, but there is more to becoming a jewelry artist than going to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever and buying the beads and making a necklace. Yes, that does take some talent, but it doesn't meet our criteria.
And your criteria for that sort of thing, I guess, would be people using, basically cutting the beads themselves, making the beads themselves. Everything is made by the artist.
Well, in some cases and in some cases not. There are many mediums where they have to buy part of it. They could not make it. I had an artist the other day who told me that 80% of her stained glass was original. And her comment to me was, there are only so many ways to make a peace sign. and that really explains it, because there are some things that are general across the board. We know she didn't invent the peace sign. My goodness, that was many years ago. And so we do look at things like that, but they have to fit. They have to have a tent. They have to be able to close up the tent, or they have to take all their stuff out and bring it the next morning if they're not going to be willing to close up a tent. There are just many, many things.
And of course, we should say that this isn't just art to look at, but this is for sale. These things are for sale.
Absolutely. And this costs nothing to come. There's something there for everybody.
Right.
If you need a present for yourself, or if you need a present for someone else, it's going to be there.
This would be a great time if you're doing some holiday shopping.
Absolutely.
If you have a friend or a relative who has moved into a new home, or they're redecorating, or you just know they like something,
or they're hard to buy for.
Or they're hard to buy for, because you can buy a one-of-a-kind piece of art here.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of a kind, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It really does.
Okay, so there are also prizes as well.
Absolutely. We give over $7,000 worth of prizes. We have a student show, and they come into the prizes as well. Okay. We're hoping that we will have a big student show. That's the most difficult one, because the kids aren't in school. If they were in school, it would be easy to recruit. Right. But, it's summer. And
so are the student pieces, are these been from public schools?
Yes, public schools, private schools, homeschooled, anyone who is a student who does art.
Okay, and that student age, is that first grade to 12th grade?
No,
is that college?
It's middle and high school.
Middle and high school, okay.
And if they're interested, if anybody hears this that's interested to send their child or to bring their child, go to Seawell Art Show's website, which is www.seawellartshow.org, and click on artists and go all the way to the bottom, and they'll find the student information.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time to come here and tell us all about this. 51 years and still going strong. That's fantastic.
We hope so, and we hope everyone will come out. Remember, it's free. There are restaurants down here that are
You can really
wonderful.
make a day out of here. It's a
Absolutely.
total day.
We do not have food vendors, because we have wonderful
You don't
restaurants.
Have to. Yeah, and they're literally, you're in the middle of the street, you just pick one and go to it.
Exactly.
All right, well, thanks so much for coming here, Elaine, and telling us about it. Be sure to check out this year's Seawell Art Show. It's the 51st, and it's right here in Old Town Portsmouth on August 26th.
August 26th and 27th.
A full weekend, Saturday,
from
August
10
25th.
to 5.
From 10 to 5. Thanks, Elaine.
You're most welcome. I thank you.
Here in Old Town Portsmouth, you don't have to go to an art gallery or a museum to see works of art. You see art while walking down the street in the form of murals and statues and so much more. Our next guest is John Joyce, and he's going to tell us about the wonderful organization behind it all, Support Portsmouth Public Art. John, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you.
So tell us a little about Support Portsmouth Public Art. How old is this organization?
I think it's about 11 to 12 years old.
And you've been involved with it from the very beginning.
The beginning is my friends Barbara Vincent, who's no longer in this town. She moved south, but she started another art group down there in Beaufort, North Carolina. And the late Ida K. Jordan were my two colleagues, I guess, in this endeavor.
Great. And the purpose of the organization is to?
Well, I think when we started, Actually, my friends and I bought the first sculpture that had been bought, I think, in the city of Portsmouth for like 40 years, was the toad. I've Been Kissed. We bought it without an organization, and some people thought we should just keep doing it that way, buying things as we went along and just beg for money. And I just thought an organization sounded like a more efficient way of doing it.
Right. So now you've had a bunch of projects over the years, murals, statues, and things throughout the city. Some things that are sort of interactive, I think, like wings.
Some of them were interactive. Our first interactive one was actually Before I Die, boards that we had up on High Street, and probably had as many as 40,000 people had written something on these boards before we took them down. We also have the wings that had 10 wings put in all throughout the city. 2 of them are not down right now, or not out. One of them, a hurricane ripped it off the wall. The peacock will come back like the phoenix. And the second one is the dragonflies, which have been moved from, they're renovating the professional building, and we're moving it over to another area in High Street.
Yeah, and of course, when people are with their cell phones, visitors or people walking down see those, and they snap their picture in front of them. And
art is definitely, for the most part, if it's on the street, it can be interactive.
Yeah. Now, you recently, or you're finishing up, or you're about to finish up, a project entitled Hug.
Right.
And that stands for?
Hope, Understanding, and Giving. It's more of our way of saying we wanted some uplifting, happier murals. I mean, some can be funny, but for the most part, we wanted to include the people who have made our city great, and thank them, praise them, and try to also encourage people that this city's got a lot going for it.
Okay, so the murals will then depict these people, or?
These murals will sometimes just be words. We have, I tried to keep most of them from the downtown area, because we want to concentrate later on a downtown project. So most of them were in the outlying areas. We have one, I don't know all the neighborhoods, but we have one on Portsmouth Boulevard that is probably the most obvious one. It's huge. We have one off of Deep Creek. We have a couple off of Midtown, mid-city area of High Street. And of course, we do have a few downtown.
And these are on the sides of businesses?
These are on the sides of local businesses, yes, and none are on public property.
I know a lot, because you've done so much in Old Town, people think probably that you just focus in Old Town, but you actually, it's the entire city.
We have had such wonderful response to people going by, tooting horns and coming by and asking questions. Some of the neighborhoods have all been, I don't know, they've struggled. And so when they see someone out there painting an uplifting message, they are very happy about that. We have
helps morale, community pride, all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's great to feel that somebody cares about your community and doing that. Yeah. Now, what's coming up? What are projects down the road?
Well, we have a matching grant with the city to put another sculpture, a love sculpture. It's going to be in front of this building, the visitor center. We haven't quite got the design yet. We're working on that. That will be the grant for this year. We also are going to be painting some on the 900 block of High Street. There's some buildings that have been painted blue for many years, and the owner has given us permission and encouragement to paint them. We're going to paint them as facades of shops and stores that we sort of would like to have in Portsmouth, like a pet store or a bookstore and things like this. So we're excited about that. We're going to get started on that, probably actually painting it maybe in September.
Wow, that'll really
yeah, it's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun.
Anything else down the road at this point?
Well, we stay pretty busy. We got a lot of things down the road, but no promises to some of these things, so I have to keep that from you. But we have SPPA has been co-sponsoring the First Friday concerts at the PAC, and we also have started a First Friday art market, and our second or third year for the First Saturday art market, and which is really doing well.
So that's in conjunction with the farmers market. And
that
all
goes
of
with the
that,
same as
and
the flea
antique
market and
flea
the farmers market. We're usually sold out as far as vendors, so that's really encouraging. We're giving artists a chance to come over here and for a very cheap price show what they have.
And I would assume, just from the farmer market having been around, that you really get a good crowd.
We have a really good crowd, and then when we only do it on the first Saturday, it's the flea market people also come through. So good participation.
And that's generally from about, what, 9 in the morning to 1 or 2 in the afternoon?
Goes from like 9 to 2. Okay. So I think all the artists are always coming back, so they apparently are doing well financially too.
That's great. Now, if someone is watching this and they actually want to support Portsmouth Public Art or get involved in the organization, can they do that?
Absolutely. You caught me off guard as far as the we're SPPA.org, and on Facebook we're also SPPA. That's our by the way name. We're nonprofit also, and so if you can just do SPPA
or Google's Portsmouth Public Art,
and get us on Facebook, and then you'll have my name and everything else.
Okay, great. So you've been this from the very beginning, as we said earlier. Why? Why is that? I mean, I know you have traveled a lot.
As I was telling you before, the big cities, they all have art. You go to all these big cities all over the world, and the art is amazing. But it's the small towns that excite me. I mean, you can go to some little town of 4,000, and they have art, unbelievable art, and even it could be something that someone just did on their own barn or something. But people seem to want this art, and there's no reason why our city can't be equal and be running with the big dog, so to speak, as far as, because art doesn't have to be expensive to be good.
No.
People may want something out of bronze and pay $150,000 for it, but you could make every bit of a statement out of something out of wood or out of steel.
Or paint on the side of a building.
A beautiful mural so whatever excites you, the artists, all artists want to get over here in Portsmouth. I've heard that from 3 or 4 artists. They're saying they've done this and this in Virginia Beach, but Portsmouth is the only place they haven't had a mural. So
we are a smaller town, but we grew organically over several centuries, and we basically have a canvas, our background upon which to place this art.
We have history that is. Besides, we've got art all out in all the parks. The City Park, Hoffler Creek, Paradise Creek, but we have history, and I try often to merge history when I can with our art, because it's like an advertisement for our city. The most recent one on the Hug Project was when I saw the building. It was right next to the Rosenwald School, which was the Key Road School was the official name, and this was a school that was built in the 20s. Roosevelt was the CEO of Sears, and he, along with Booker T. Washington, built about 5,000 schools in the South for Black students who were discouraged from going to school. And so this one is still left. And so when I saw the building that was going to be a site for a mural was right next to it, I could not talk about that. So this mural that Matt Diggs did was amazing. It's 40 foot long and about 20 feet tall, and he calls it the American Gothic. It's right off Portsmouth Boulevard, as almost near where Rodman comes into Portsmouth Boulevard. You can't miss it. It is just an awesome. He's got a basketball that looks like a sun going down when you go west on Portsmouth Boulevard. So really excited about that, as well as a few others that we've really shocked at how good they were.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you and the organization for everything that you're doing, really to bring beauty and just a touch of warmth and class and everything else to Portsmouth, and a sense of community and history.
Yeah, we really enjoy doing this reporting.
Well, thanks for joining us today and telling us about it.
Okay, thank you.
Every single day, our dedicated team is here to serve the needs of the 2,000 animals that enter our shelter. Abandoned, abused, lost, and loved, we provide these pets with veterinary care, safety, and a soft place to land. We work to ensure that each animal is unified with a family that loves and values them. While adoptions are at the forefront of our work, we have developed a range of vital community programs to help pets and their people living in our community. From the unweaned kitten, eyes closed and unable to feed itself, to the family dog that lost its way, our programming ensures that each animal has the means to thrive. We provide lost and found support for pet owners, a pet food pantry, and a resource network for veterinary care and temporary housing for pets in need. Our foster and volunteer programs provide direct, life-saving support that enables us to expand our shelter walls and increase our capacity for care. A private nonprofit, Portsmouth Humane proudly boasts a long-standing relationship with the City of Portsmouth to shelter the city's animals. This partnership strengthens our ability to bring much-needed animal services to Portsmouth residents and their pets. Thanks to our powerful partnerships with the City of Portsmouth, fosters, volunteers, community members, and donors, we can achieve our mission to create a safe, compassionate, and inclusive community for people and animals through education and resource programs that elevate animal welfare standards and champion the human-animal bond. Together, we can help people help animals.
Our next guest is Stephen Gurnett, who's here to tell us what's happening this August and September at the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center. Stephen, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you so very much, Rob. I'm always happy to be back.
And we're always happy to have you here. So what is happening at the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center this August and September?
Yeah, well, we have our 2 exhibits on both floors up for the summertime, and they'll be up through October. So there's plenty of time to see them, and the great news is they're stellar. They all include local artists, both of them. The upstairs exhibit is called Color Outside the Lines, and it features local painters from the region who work in beautiful surfaces, lots of bright colors and abstract compositions. And we're talking a lot of really fantastic sizes too. Some of these paintings will fill a good sized wall. So, and we've got the gallery space upstairs for it. If you haven't seen the upstairs gallery space, that's worth a visit in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then downstairs we have a new exhibit that just opened called Solid Ground, and it features new works from the Ceramic Design Association, which is another local artist organization. So it's all work in clay, and we're talking a variety. So we've got some pottery and functional ware, but also some sculptural and a lot of humor in some of these sculptures. There's some artists that use really interesting tongue-in-cheek wit with psychology and what's going on in the world and how they bring it into their sculptures. And so I would encourage you to see both exhibits, and they'll be up, like I said, for quite a while. And we have some special events that go along with these exhibits, particularly with music. But we also have some artist demonstrations that pertain to the painting exhibit. So on August 12th, there'll be a free demonstration in the courtyard by 2 of the artists who are in the Color Outside the Lines exhibit.
Okay.
And also in August, we're going to have a musical performance for International Women's Equality Day. Okay. And it's going to feature a band named Fox and the Bear. And it's 2 sisters, a 2-sister duo. And they performed in the courtyard before for a First Friday concert, along with, it was kind of part of Alan Hudson's band. Okay. So Alan Hudson took a break for a while and they performed, and they were really good. So I wanted to bring them back for this event, and they should be really fantastic.
So what day is that in August?
That's on August 26th. So these are both Saturdays. Okay. Most of our programs are on Saturdays, but of course we have the First Friday concerts, which will be going on August, September, and the last one is in October. Okay. So in August, that's coming up like this week, the Ramblin' Jake Band on Friday from 5 to 8. They're free, open to the public. And so are the galleries. During these times, people can come in and see the exhibits without paying admission.
It's sort of like a free art party. It really is. It's just a laid back, great evening.
It is, exactly. And it's not too late, so if you want to have plans afterwards, and you don't have to stay for the whole thing either.
Right.
You can come for a little bit or come later. And then the one in September will feature Lassiter and the Weeds, which is classic country honky-tonk music, which is really interesting. You don't get to hear that very often these days. And Jonah Ross will finish off the series in October, and he's been performing with Alan Hudson for years in Court Street Company. But so this is his kind of his own thing, and new music, original music from him. So that should be a really great ending to the season. I also want to mention there is one event in September, on September 23rd. That's another Saturday, and it's another free event at the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center, but it's also combined with the rest of the branches in our department. So the Children's Museum, the Naval Shipyard Museum, they're all going to collaborate in this annual event we have called Maker Fest.
Okay.
So this features all sorts of artisan, craftsmen, mathematicians, you name it, people that are entrepreneurs and they make their own, you name it, robots, printing machines. You'll have examples of demonstrations of people and organizations throughout the High Street area doing these sorts of activities. And some will be hands-on. We'll of course have more of the arts and crafts down at the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center. And at the Children's Museum, they'll probably focus more on science and building.
Okay, and what day is that again?
That is Saturday, September 23rd. And it's always a great event. And then we'll also have as usual, every Saturday, there's the farmer's market around the courtyard.
Right.
So there'll be just so much going on.
And an artist market a couple of Saturdays a month, or one Saturday a month?
Yeah,
also?
every first Saturday of the month is when they have the art market, and then they also have the flea market in the parking garage. Exactly.
Good time. All right. So if people want to come to the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center, what hours are you open? First, where you're located. If you don't know, you're at the corner of...
We're in the corner of Court and High.
Court and High.
The address is 400 High Street, but our entrance is on the Court Street side.
Okay, this is the beautiful 1849?
Yes,
1846
courthouse built before the Civil War.
Yep.
And that's sort of the outside structure. And then inside we have these galleries.
Okay.
And our hours are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday.
All right. And is there a website they can go to?
Yes, it's portsmouthartcenter.com.
Fantastic.
And there'll be links on that website to all the other branches of our department as well.
Well, thanks again for coming to see us and telling us what's going on.
Thank you again, Rob. Thank you so much.
No matter the time of year, fun is always on display at the Children's Museum of Virginia. Our next guest is Erin Colston, who will tell us what's happening there in August and September. Erin, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
So, always fun at the Children's Museum. What is the fun in store for September? I'm sure August and September.
We still have a ton of summer fun going on, Rob. We're on one floor of fun right now, so admission is only $5 for the remainder of the summer.
Okay.
So we would love for families to come out and see us at this reduced rate. In addition to that, we have Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood in our changing gallery through September 10th. So we want families to come, see, and explore and experience the world through Daniel Tiger's eyes along with his friends.
Okay. Now, summer is ending, school will be starting up. What's planned for the school year?
Sure. So we're going to be open Wednesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. during the school year. And we love field trips in groups. So we would highly encourage schools or any other organizations to reach out to us about programming, planetarium show options, as well as just standard field trips either from to the museum or for us to their classroom. Okay. In addition to that, we're gonna have Toddler Day, September 13th, 14th, and 15th. So in the mornings, we'll have activities focused primarily on kids under 5.
Okay. Now, all the exhibits at the Children's Museum of Virginia, if I understand, they basically align with the SOL, Standards of Learning?
That's correct. So yeah.
These are the types of things that school systems will usually pay for because it's related to the curriculum.
Absolutely, yes. So it is a STEAM-focused museum through play, of course, and it is all SOL based, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like a lot of fun. And your hours are going to be?
Wednesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And there's a reduced rate currently?
Yes, it's $5 a ticket.
Fantastic. Thanks for taking time for your busy day across the street.
You're welcome. Thank you.
On the first Saturday of every month, come rain or shine, the Old Town Antique and Flea Market is held in the Mill Street Garage. on Saturday, September 2nd, the market turns 20 years old and there's going to be a big celebration. Here's Edwin Street to tell us about the festivities. Edwin, welcome to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here. Now, you've been the manager of the Old Town Portsmouth Antique and Flea Market for about 2 years.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, for those who have never been, tell us a little bit about the market, when it is, where it is, what they can see there.
The Old Town Antique and Flea Market is every first Saturday of the month here in Portsmouth, Virginia. It's held in the parking garage, Middle Street parking garage at 441 Middle Street. And it's over 75 vendors, antiques, collectibles, ephemera, you name it, crafts. It's a treasure trove.
It really is. I mean, I've actually have bought a number of antiques in my house over the years in there. So yeah, they have some really cool stuff.
Yes.
And not just stuff to hang on walls of furniture, but also they're like comic book collectors and things. A lot of collectors there of different pop culture type things as well.
Absolutely. The market has been going over, it's a 20th year anniversary. So it's been vendors that have been there over 20 years, the length of the market, and many of them have been there 10 years or more.
And they really know their stuff. Because
They
even
do.
if they don't have what you're looking for, you can get a good conversation going and they can give you some tips on where to find it.
Wow, we have great vendors, dealers, and new vendors every day.
Right, and of course the great thing about being in the Middle Street garage is that rain or shine, it's there. You don't have to worry about the weather.
Absolutely.
Now, I know there are probably a lot of people that support it. I mean, you do this voluntarily, I assume, for the
Nope, I'm a paid market manager
Okay,
for
market
the Old
manager.
Town Business Association, and that allows me to really concentrate on keeping vendors there
Okay.
and keeping them happy, which is a task.
Right. Okay. So, what are some of the other, I guess, maybe departments or organizations that have really been behind this and that have really been behind the success of the market for the past 20 years?
Wow, it's a market that's put on by the Old Town Business Association, and it's one of their main fundraisers for things like the tree lighting and the open holiday house for the holiday events. And it is held inside of the parking garage, so the staff at the parking authority have been very instrumental in this market over the years. Of course, the city of Portsmouth, and we have the Portsmouth deputy sheriffs who volunteer to work with us and volunteer every market that we have. So we're very appreciative of all the involvement.
Yeah, it really is a community event.
Absolutely.
Okay, so on September 2nd, Saturday, the market officially turns 20 years old.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess there's going to be sort of a birthday party in a sense.
That's right. That's right. The slogan is 20 years of fleas. And so September 2nd this year, from 10 to 2, we have a 20th anniversary celebration. We're going to honor the vendors that have been there all that time and the ones that have been there over 20 years. We have some sponsorship from Jimmy John's. We have some door prizes every hour. We have roaming interpreters and music for this day to celebrate the 20 years that this market has been in operation.
Okay, so it sounds like a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, and of course, it's always fun. That's always the first Saturday of every month. Now, what are the hours for the market?
Yep, the hours are 10 to 2, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's just a block from the ferry landings and a block from the Children's Museum here in Portsmouth.
And also on the first Saturdays of every month, there is the farmer's market is usually going on. I think it's usually the first Saturday at the Art and Cultural Center, and there's the art shows and stuff that go on the first Saturday of every month. So there's just a lot to do down here in Old Town.
It's a treasure of art, music, and more. And that day, the first Saturday, of course, like you said, it's bustling, on every block.
And if people want to find out more about this event, but also just the market in general, is there a website or an email address or a phone number they can call?
Yes, they can go to Old Town, SOLDETOWNE, antiqueandflea.com, and they can call 757-339-1876 to get more information about the Old Town Antique and Flea Market.
Fantastic. So be sure to check out the Old Town Antique and Flea Market. That's every Saturday, first Saturday of every month at the Middle Street Garage. And of course, on Saturday, September 2nd, it's their big 20th anniversary celebration. Thanks for being here and telling us about it.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Bye.
That's it for our show today. If you'd like to find out more about any of the events featured on today's show or any other events taking place in Portsmouth, simply log on to www.portsvacation.com and then come to Portsmouth, where if you give us a day, we'll give you a vacation. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me next time for our autumn episode of Portsmouth Now.